Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. How are you all? I hope you watched Loki on Disney. If you have not, I highly recommend it. And I don't know how many episodes are going to be in the season, so I couldn't tell you how long you'd have to wait if you're planning on just binge watching it all at one time. But it is well worth the $12 or $13 or whatever it is a month that Disney charges for it.
Hi, I'm Bixby.
Oh, Jesus. Somehow I activated Bixby voice. Anyhow, well worth it. No spoilers. Let's not share any spoilers about it, but man, what a show. It is 100% grounded into the MCU. 100%. And it's just a great show. Probably, it was, in my opinion, it was better than Scarlet Vision and definitely better than Falcon and Winter Soldier. All of those are great shows. Can't go wrong with any of those. But this one's definitely better altogether than all of those, either of those. All right, trying to find my channel. So I don't have anything planned. As usual, it seems over the last few months of giving up planning on anything. Just come in and take care of whatever's coming up. I got notification that my other two Spider-Man, ordered 3 of them. So the other 2 of the Spider-Man suit from, oh God, I can't get a clean thought right now for some reason. Far From Home are on their way. Well, I'm just brained this morning. All right. Here we go. There's the chat. Matt, 2310. First in the line today. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. How are you? Toys Mafia, how's it going? Yo. Jake, good morning. CBS Sci-Fi, hello. Universal Key, good morning. It is an absolute must-watch. Loki is an absolute must-watch. If you don't feel like watching Scarlet Vision, you're going to miss out, I think, on some key things that upcoming in the new phase. If you probably should definitely watch the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I think that's pivotal on what's coming up. But Loki, for fact, oh my God, for fact, Loki needs to be watched. For fact, if you're involved in MCU in any capacity, you need to watch Loki, no doubt about it. And it's a good show. On top of that, they did a really good job with it. Now, it's just the first episode, and I had a problem with the Falcon and the Winter Soldier in episodes 2 through 5. So the first episode was really good. The 6th episode, or the last episode, whatever it was, I think it was 6 episodes. The 6th episode was really good, and the middle was just a mess, in my opinion. But you have to watch the middle to get the whole story, But the bookends were great. Scarlet Vision, I thought every episode was good. on that one. It wasn't an episode I didn't care for. But so Loki, the first one is really good, and let's hope that it continues on. And like I said, I don't know how many they're making, whether it's just 6 episodes or 14 episodes or who knows. But each episode I think is 50 minutes, and kind of what I learned from Scarlet Vision is you definitely want to watch the credits that have some type of an image with them, but then after that stops and goes to the black and white credits. There's um, no end video if I remember correctly on any of those. So after Loki ends, you want to watch that portion of the credits, but it's not like an end video post credit scene like they do in the movies. So I've got a lot of boxes. I'm gonna have a lot of stuff I can unbox. We went over last week what all I actually have. So if there's anything that any of you want specifically for me to open that I haven't opened, or anything that you want to talk about here, I'm open to do whatever. Really, I'm not tied to anything this morning. Hell, I'll even build a Detolf if that's what y'all want me to do. I've got 5 of those sitting around that need to be built. Social Toys released the Green Arrow, and that's DC, right? Or is that from The Boys? Because I remember seeing that figure, and I didn't recognize where he's from, so I figured he must be DC because I don't recognize him. But it looked good. Yeah, cool, man. It looked good. It really did. It has like the helmet, the hood, and I've really not kept track with DC at all. I don't hate DC. I'm not to that I'm not to that side of it. I'm not like Marvel hardcore for life. I totally respect DC. 100% totally respect DC. DC was the first superheroes that I read and learned about. Superman, Batman, of course. I got their comics when I was a little kid, and have total respect for Superman. And Batman, of course, everybody loves Batman. The Dark Knight, and I have no problem with them. But what happened was I didn't delve outside of those 2 characters when I was a little guy. And then when I discovered Spider-Man, oh, well, that was the end of the story. Because that became the superhero that I could totally relate to. And I just quit following Batman and Superman per se. I still knew who they were, enjoyed the movies, but I didn't follow the DC line at that point. I just fell totally in love with the Marvel line, and still didn't even follow everything of that. There's the line's constantly growing and growing and growing, but I can't keep track of all the DC guys. I'm sorry, but yeah, I remember seeing that figure and thinking that looks great. So I take it you did not pre-order it at that point off the CW show. And that was kind of what I was wondering too, because didn't they do something different with the Flash, where they had the CW Flash and then they have the movie Flash, and even though both of these are kind of running at the same time, they decided to use different people, and they're not tied in, or they are tied in. I don't know, but I thought that was interesting the way that they were doing that. But again, it's just like collecting the Star Wars. I'm trying to not go all out on Star Wars, because I swear to God, I would buy every freaking Mandalorian. I would buy every freaking Stormtrooper. I would buy every incarnation of Luke, every incarnation of Ben, absolutely every incarnation of Darth Vader. And I've been trying to hold myself back on that. And I know as soon as I buy Superman, or as soon as I buy Batman, it's on. I mean, how many Batmen are there? On top of that, it's like an Iron Man. There's probably just as many Batman figures as there are Iron Man figures, and I'm trying to control myself to just hundreds and hundreds of Marvel characters and some of the other that appeal to me outside of the Marvel universe. I'm trying to keep it within the realm of grasp ability, if you'll allow me to make up a word like that. But I know I would go full on out. I would buy every version of Superman. Oh my God. I would just go stupid crazy. I'd have to have a warehouse just to display the stuff. I love the hobby. I love the hobby. When I started, I've collected stuff my entire life. I just go all out whenever I discover something that I like. For instance, I my tennis shoes that I like to wear are the Cortez tennis shoes. I probably have 15 pair of Cortez tennis shoes. Blue and white and blue, black and white and white, black and black. I've got limited edition Cortez shoes. I've got leather ones. I've got suede ones. I've got nylon ones. I just love the Cortez tennis shoes. So I just buy every one. I get an email from Nike. Oh, we've got a new Cortez coming out. What do you think of this one? I'm buying it. I got the Dam ones, the ones that say Dam on the side. I've got the ones that were called the what do they call them? The Kenny Classics or whatever, which was supposedly like the first recreation of the first ones that they made for the runner that they made them for. I get stupid like that and just buy my razors. Bought every freaking Mach 3 that they made, every color, every different little change that they made. Same thing with the gosh darn Fusion razors. I've got so many Fusion razors, it's not even funny. I don't even know how many I have. Maybe 30 or 40 Fusion razors. I just get stupid like that. Just buy it all. So this is controlled. This is me in control. This is me in control. So, jeez. Heimdall. So I was told my Heimdall is how you say it. He's on his way. I think that was a so-so toy. So that's coming. I got 2 of those ordered. I don't remember. Was there anything else that came that was announced this week? Different people, but the show did a huge Crisis on Infinite Earth story line and showed many shows, and they had a little skit about Flash from the show, not Flash from the movies. Interesting. And I accept that. So when I was younger, of course, as I'm reading the Spider-Man, they were obviously creating alternate universes and alternate timelines and alternate Spider-Man at the time, but I really wasn't following. I didn't understand. I didn't put any thought to it. I suppose I could have understood it if they really delved deeply on it. I mean, how they had the What If series where they would literally create a whole what if scenario around their characters. It wasn't until Deadpool, I guess, when I truthfully understood the fact that there's all of these infinite multiverses, or maybe even the movie The One with let's see, it was Jet Li, I think, did The One. Oh man, what an amazing movie! If you've not seen The One, the Jet Li movie The One, I don't want to give any spoilers, but essentially what it is in this reality of that this movie is based on, there's multiverses of all of us, and your karma or your aura or your soul or your energy or your chakras or whatever you want to consider it let's just say there's a value assigned to it of 1,000. Everyone has a number. Let's just say it's 1,000, and that is divided amongst every one of you that there is in every universe. So there's an infinite number of universes. So using 1,000 is a stupid number, but let's just, for argument's sake, let's just make it that. So that's divided between all of you. That number is. It's not a larger number. It's that number is divided between all of you. When one of you die in the other universes or multiverses, then their chakra or their energy or whatever gets handed out evenly amongst all the living that are left. So by the time there's only one of you, you will have all the power, all the the knowledge, or well, not the knowledge, but all the power, all the energy, the internal energy, if you're able to tap into that, that would have been shared between everybody. So this one guy discovered this and started killing off his other people to make himself more powerful, if you will. And it was a really good movie talking about the multiverses in regards to that. Then Deadpool, of course, totally showed us how the multiverse works. And there's been many multiverse timelines and comic books. And there's actually a multiverse police that, or force, I think, I forget what they're called, that police the multiverse. And they also have that in the one movie. And so that is how I can understand and totally accept all of the different Spider-Men and the different Mary Janes and whatever else. I am really upset that they named Michelle Johnson MJ. I hate that. I don't think she should have been called MJ. I really don't. That bothers me. Because when Spider-Man meets Mary Jane, you know, what's he going to do? Call her MJ also? If he gets involved with her, is he going to call her MJ, his pet name for Michelle? I don't know. I got a problem with that. That's my only problem I have. But I don't care. They explain it perfectly in the movie The One. You should go see The One. It's a pretty good movie, especially if you enjoy Jet Li style movies. But they do a really good job of explaining how all the different multiverses work in regards to who you are, who you could be. Just like Deadpool has done that with Dogpool and Squirrelpool and Major America or General America and all these different versions of Deadpool that there are. They don't have to be Lady Bit Deadpool. They don't have to be an exact duplicate of you in order to be you. So you can even have a homosexual Deadpool, or whatever. It doesn't change anything. It's still Deadpool, Spider-Ham. So, which is in Loki, for instance, they introduce us to something as well. It's not the multiverse police, but it's something else that I didn't even know that there was a comic in regards to this. Totally makes sense, and I'm glad I watched it for that story. That was pretty cool. That was actually very cool. And oh my God, Loki was just funny. It's informative, it's exciting, it's funny, and it makes you think. And I can't wait till next Wednesday. Wednesday night is when they're coming out, for however many weeks that it is. It's also kind of like, I guess what you're talking about with Flash, it's kind of like the Highlander. The movies, the original movie, and the Highlander from that movie, and then we had Adrian Highlander from the television series. If you watched any of those, which I thought the Highlander was wonderful. I kind of hated the last movie, but all the different series that they had out of it and all the spin-offs that came from it, they all of a sudden here when you're at the television show, we're watching a whole different Highlander. And then eventually one day, the two of them, the movie Highlander and the television Highlander, get together, and all of that is explained. So it's nice whenever they do that. And that is not an alternate universe situation, though. But it was good that they did explain that, because if you've watched the Highlander, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. If you haven't, you may have seen just the movie. The television series, the first television series, is amazing, absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. If you enjoy that type of thing, oh my goodness, the Highlander was amazing. Really enjoyed that. So I don't know. No one's shouting out as to anything specifically they want me to unbox. You know what I'll do then? Captain Marvel, that's another one that I really you have to accept the multiverse in order to not be too judgmental on the Captain Marvel story that we were given in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. and it it works for the universe, but it sure did kick everyone right in the face who was a Captain Marvel fan. And I was not a Captain Marvel fan. Okay, I knew who Captain Marvel was. I knew Miss Marvel and all of those other associated characters, but I didn't buy the Captain Marvel comics, and that's kind of been the thing with Marvel, Captain Marvel in the first place, that you would think because of Marvel comics, Captain Marvel would be their main thing, but that was never really the case, and it's always just kind of been the character that they made just because they had to keep the name because DC Comics has Captain Marvel as well, and so there was always that thing. So they had to continually make a story about Captain Marvel, but it never seemed to be. They never made it their front character. Captain Marvel, Marvel Comics. It just never happened that way. So I guess they figured because the fans were never really there in the first place for the comic, that they didn't mind totally rewriting the entire thing for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which is what they really did. So since I'm talking about Captain Marvel, I'm going to open this up. This is a third party Captain Marvel, and I'm also going to open up my Nick Fury, my first Nick Fury. I've got the Nick Fury from Civil War, right? Is that what it was? Or Winter Soldier? It was Winter Soldier. But I've always wanted this Nick Fury. So let's start with this Captain Marvel. So I've accepted Captain Marvel as what they've given us, but it's not who comes to mind when I think of Captain Marvel. They've totally they just made up a whole nother story. So, but it works for the cinematic universe, right? Unbox McDonald's. Man, I can sure use some McDonald's. I have a McDonald's literally within walking distance to my house. I mean, for fact. I could be there walking. I'd probably be there in 5 minutes. And it is absolutely the worst McDonald's on the planet. I've eaten McDonald's probably just about every state in the United States. I've eaten McDonald's in France. I've eaten McDonald's in Singapore. I've eaten McDonald's in Italy. Or I don't remember if I've even eaten it in Italy. I've had McDonald's everywhere. I've had McDonald's in the Bahamas. I've had McDonald's in Mexico. I've had McDonald's in Canada. This McDonald's within walking distance to my house is hands down the worst McDonald's on the planet. It really is. It really is. So this would be from, I guess you would say, Infinity War, specifically. I really hated. So I had a problem with Captain Marvel from the start because of the way that they were portraying the character. But I wasn't against Captain Marvel. Kind of like I'm not against Michelle Zendoya or she's Michelle Johnson. I'm not against that character. I even had a problem with Brie Larson because of her little smart aleckness, but I went into the movie with open eyes, willing to accept whatever they gave me. And in my opinion, they just did a really terrible job making the movie. They were making an action movie, but they didn't give me the love for the character. I just never felt any love for the character. It kind of ended up being the same way as Ang Lee's Hulk. You know, it's a Hulk movie. By golly, I want to see the Hulk do Hulk stuff, and it really was more of a love story or something than anything else, and it really bothered me. So same thing with Captain Marvel. I never had the hell yeah moment where I was so thrilled with her making her appearance, or I couldn't wait for her to kick the bad guys' asses. I never fell in love with her. Never fell in love with her. They just did a terrible job at doing that. And then on top of that, in with that terrible job of doing all that, and the actress just not, winning me over at all. When she made her appearance in Endgame, they used more or less the exact same hell yeah moment that was supposed to be a hell yeah moment that wasn't a hell yeah moment in the first movie, and they just duplicated it for Endgame. And I'm like, okay, well, that's stupid. You didn't do it right the first time, and now you've done it again. And anyone that watched the first movie already knew this was coming, and it's now just another boring blah instead of being a hell yeah, kick their ass. It was just like, okay, we're doing this again. Okay, go ahead, do it again. And it's just Deadpool talks about that. Piss poor writing. The first Blade Runner movie. Well, actually, it isn't the first one. The first theatrical release of Blade Runner, with the dubbing over of Deckard's thoughts as you're watching the movie, was just considered poor writing, because instead of or poor directing. And I don't I love Ridley Scott, so I'm not necessarily saying he's a poor director, but whenever you can't tell the story with the story, you've got to go back and explain the story to somebody. It wasn't done right the first time, and that's what was story. That's the problem with Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel. They didn't tell the story right the first time, so now they're trying to retell the story again, and it's just an absolute mess. It's the right way and the wrong way of doing it, and they did it the wrong way. And I can sit back and complain and bitch and pick it apart all day long. I'm not doing any better. I'm not going out and making movies. I don't have that ability. So, I have that reality as well, that I couldn't do a better job. So it's not like, oh, okay, well, you don't like how it was done, you do it. Oh, I couldn't. I couldn't do a better job. But that's the problem with Captain Marvel. And so that's why there's just going to be a lot of people not getting a hold of her. Um, but I'm hoping that the way things are going, that she'll become a more and more integral part of all of it. She really should. She's a powerful being. Now let's see. Do I see Brie Larson looking at this? No, I don't. Is it a good looking sculpt? Yes, it is. Is it a good looking suit? Yes, it is. Stands up on its own well. So this is made by AC Play, by the way. I didn't really go over that. I just kind of showed it to you, that AC Play, acplay at hotmail.com. And this is number ATX051. That's what this is. Universe Superhuman. So obviously it's supposed to be Captain Marvel. I have the deluxe version, Captain Marvel. Originally, I was going to order two of them, a deluxe and a standard, and I canceled the standard because money was an issue at the point, and I want to still buy the standard or another version of the deluxe. So I want to be able to display Captain Marvel in a couple of poses, different incarnations of her. Um, Alternate head sculpt. Some nice fist power. I don't see any other accessories. I'm getting more to the box, but it appears that this just snaps onto this fist. You see the fist is kind of bent as such. I'm assuming that's how it's supposed to be. This is on the left-hand side of the box, so I'm assuming this is the left. See if I can see anything in here that says left on it. This is the one that's on the right side of the box. And I don't see anything. That doesn't necessarily mean that there isn't. Actually, looking at them, they're identically cast. These came from the exact same mold, so there's no left and right. I mean, they're identical, 100%, identically cast. Wires. There's wire in these pieces of her outfit, so you can pose that effect, if you will. All right, the fist comes off. We have a small peg, so you could probably put hands on her. Let me check the other Captain Marvel, see if they're interchangeable. That would be nice. This is what comes off for the glove. Let me check the other Captain Marvel. The Hot Toys Captain Marvel. Moving my stormtroopers out of the way. Sand troopers, excuse me. Sand troopers. Sand troopers. Original Alec Guinness, Ben Kenobi. Doctor Strange from Avengers Infinity War, I believe. MK100 suits. Tony Stark racing suit. Captain Marvel. Here we go. So I want to see if it's interchangeable. Let's get the rest of this box opened up here. Interesting crotch grabber. It looks like it's the oval one, but it's actually a triangle. And an interesting display base with a square in it. So that's going to be a problem. Some muck, some oil, probably some mold release from the mold that this came out of. But this is going to be a problem, finding this to match in here. So I've not seen this style of base anywhere else. It doesn't say Captain Marvel or anything on it, just blank. That's the entire contents of this box. no, I accept Captain Marvel, even though it was just piss poor movie, piss poor actress, piss poor story. Oh God! I mean, it was just lazy done. It wasn't done as an action movie. It was too much of an education that they were trying to do to me. I don't want to be educated. I want to be entertained. Truthfully. Yeah, people like to talk about the original series Star Trek, how every episode was an education, which it was. But I didn't feel like I was being preached at as I was watching it. Most of y'all probably don't even know what each episode was about. Each episode had a moral dilemma. Each episode had an education for you. But you were so enthralled with the excitement and the story that you didn't realize you were being educated. Nowadays, they just throw it right in your face. I mean, just straight up right in your face. Some Star Trek episodes, of course, it was thrown right in your face. Can't argue that. But not like how they do it nowadays. They just really go about it all wrong. Again, I'm not a movie maker. I'm not doing a better job at it. But I sure can complain about it. So the problem with this would be that different style of head sculpts. The helmet's differently styled from the two different incarnations of her. But, and because of the neck, you wouldn't be able to put the head on. I suppose if you were to, if you felt so inclined, you could probably customize that. I certainly won't be doing that. That's a fact. So it's going to be a no on the head sculpt swap in regards to this Captain Marvel versus the Hot Toys Captain Marvel. You know, and on the hands, I suppose you can use the hands. The gauntlet is different, however. So this is this gauntlet, and this is Captain Marvel gauntlet. Okay, but because the gauntlet comes off with the hands, I suppose if you wanted to use, for instance, this transparent one, you could, or even this one. Either one of these, I would imagine, would work. And wrist pegs are different sizes, though. So they didn't use the small wrist peg. So you can't swap out the hands. And you're not putting a regular size wrist peg in this. So it's just not going to stay on there. So not interchangeable. Which I think they should have done. They should have made it interchangeable. Why not? Come on. You're snaking from Hot Toys anyhow. Not that Hot Toys is planning on making this figure. I mean, how they promised us the green one. Her and I forget the guy. What was his name? Judd in real life. I can't even remember his real life name, let alone his avatar name, his character name. But they showed us the green outfits, and it didn't happen. This is cloth, so um, pose it away. I would say. Will it dissolve? I don't have any idea. There's no telling these suits and such. I'm so burned about the gosh darn things dissolving away right in front of your eyes. So how I'm putting it in is I'm putting it straight into the fist because there's this little area here is tight. So I'm trying to turn it sideways around the wrist to get it in there and then spin it around once it's in place. So you can put the effects on her. It's just a standard 1/6 scale body, nothing fancy, same movements as any 1/6 scale body would have. No instruction manual. Just separated the chest from the stomach. Trying to remove the head. Good old giraffe neck. Does she have a giraffe neck? Joints on this are very loose. Very loose. Just knocked off that fire effect. I'll probably display her with the head sculpt versus the helmet. But definitely this material. So you have the pleather on the boots. But the rest is like a pajama. So you can pose the arms. I'm not so sure I would pose the knees. No, I'd have no problem posing the arms into an action pose. Doesn't really fit on there very tight, does it? Not bad. I think she was under $200. So I'm pleased to have her. I'm glad I ordered her. She will work. No doubt about that. The only accessory, more or less, that you'll be storing will be the head sculpt. She don't look so giraffe necky with the without the helmet. So yeah, she's definitely going to be displayed as such. Can't really get her head up. She's definitely pointing down, looking down on you. And no, it really doesn't look like Brie Larson that much, but it works. It works. I know who she's supposed to be. And you either love her or you hate her. That's the truthfulness of it. In all actuality. That's absolutely what it boils down to totally after it's all said and done. You either love her or you hate her. And that is Captain Marvel. From Avengers Infinity War, right? I'm sorry, no. Endgame. Avengers Endgame. Endgame. It kind of drives me crazy. With 2 years that we wait for these figures, they really could make all the other figures that we need, and they just don't do it. So what if they only have to make 100 of them? Big deal. Make 100. Make 100 of them. You're charging $200 at least for them. Some of them now are stretching over $400 for a standard figure. No matter what you want to believe, I guarantee you they're not paying their people properly that manufacture these figures. They might be paying JC Hung's team properly. They may be getting paid properly, but I have a hard time believing that the people making these figures are being paid properly. So it's pure profit. Why can't they just make all the other figures? What was the name of the cat? Flarn? What was it? A Flarn? You think it's a cat, but it's not. Was it a Flarn? Is that the term? It was nice to get a story of Nick's eye, right? I mean, even in the comics, he had an eye patch, and I didn't know what the story was behind the eye patch then either, whether it's the same story or not. That was a surprise to me. Samuel L. Jackson portraying Nick Fury. Again, that was probably the first real wake-up call to the multiverse. Nick Fury in the comics, Nick Fury, Samuel L. Jackson, totally different. 100% worked. And then, of course, we finally got Nick Fury, a.k.a. Samuel L. Jackson, to say his signature phrase, his catchphrase that Samuel L. Jackson says in just about every single movie he's been in. He didn't say it to completion, but we finally got him to say, "Mother," and I thought that was awesome. It's like you'll hear directors or producers as they're talking about a movie that they've made or whatnot, and they'll say, Yeah, we had to create this shower scene in the movie. It really doesn't have anything to do with the story. It doesn't have anything to do with the plot. But because we're paying this actor or actress $5 million to be in our movie, by golly, we're going to get to see some naked backside, or we're going to see a naked butt, or something like that. And it's kind of how I felt with Samuel L. Jackson. If I'm seeing Samuel L. Jackson in a movie, I expect him to say "motherfucker." So it was nice that he did finally say that in Infinity War. That was nice. A lot of neat toys in here. A lot of neat toys in here. You know what? I've never watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or any of those television series that were out back 10 years or so ago. And I really feel I missed out on some things. I did watch the first couple of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And I still do not understand the Phil Coulson thing. Still to this day, do not understand the Phil Coulson thing. I think I do, but I guess I have to watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to really understand it. We got a freaking rocket launcher. A holster, thigh holster, I think. Save on, Mason. How you doing, man? $1911. I don't know if they made a mistake on this piece. I think they made a mistake on this piece. So you have your magazine, your clip, okay, with the rounds in it. Okay. Then you have your 1911 right there. Okay. You can rack the slide. All right. Oh, no, they didn't. Okay. I thought maybe they didn't remove the little piece that would be where the shell would be discharged, but it's there. So he's packing a 1911. And I'm thinking this figure is brand new. Figure base. Fury. Structure manual. That's going to be important, right? I don't know if you can hear that. That's a scrub jay out there. Probably a cat wandering about. He's trying to run the cat off. Some sort of strap for some sort of something. This looks like a Halliburton case. Did this have the Tesseract in it? Y'all need to watch Loki if you haven't watched Loki. Swear to God. The Loki television series, even if it's just that first episode, is well worth the Disney subscription. It really is. I don't know how much Disney is, $13 or something. It's come on. I just pre-ordered. Black Widow's on pre-order, by the way. The movie is July 8th is the preview night. July 9th is official release night. I've already bought my tickets for Black Widow, and that was $17.99. It's a hell of a lot more than the entire Disney subscription. So, unless the Disney subscription is $25, which I don't think it is. Yeah, this is the case that held the Tesseract. The batteries are in it. With a little plastic tab. This little piece here has a little lever. You just pull up on it to take it out of that corner right there. And then I want to remove this piece of plastic here, which will allow the current to flow through the batteries. May or may not be juice in them. They may or may not have corroded in here. And I'm getting no lights. I'm assuming they're just dead or even corroded. Oh, what was that? As I'm touching these, I'm completing the circuit. So the lights are trying to come on. Oh, come on. These batteries are in here tight. I do see in a very ingenious way that they've put the batteries in here instead of the spring being on the bottom of them. So your batteries are stacked. Positive one side, negative on the other. The positive is just a thin little wafer at the top of it, but the entire side and bottom is the negative side. Is that right? Positive. Yeah. So normally when they put their stack of batteries in here, they have a post touching the positive side and then a spring or something flat or anything just touching the bottom side, compressing it together. So what they did in this case, instead of there being a spring here compressing it together, the shape of the box holds it together. The spring is on the side, making the contact to the negative portion of the battery, which is great. You can touch anywhere on that battery as long as it's not touching the top, the post where the positive is. So it's pretty ingenious how they did that. I just can't get them out of there because it's literally the size of the box. Golly. I've got a sharper tweezers here. There we go. Oh, come on. Yeah, the batteries are corroded. I don't see any corrosion in the case, though. Yeah, you can see there what I was talking about, how they did that with the spring on the side there to make connection. This is a I need my glasses to be able to tell you what battery size this is. Need my reading glasses. LR930? I mean, it's a pretty good sized battery in comparison to the others. I don't know what an LR930 is. I think it's the first time I've ever seen an LR930. Obviously, there's another name for it. Probably explains that in the instruction manual. But the lights were wanting to come on as I was taking it out of here, so I'm confident that it works. Confident that it works. Not too worried about that. Continuing. A lot of accessories in here. Ah, another Tesseract. It's kind of yellowed from time, I imagine. I think I've got a couple of Tesseracts. I don't know if all of them will fit in here or not. That's how it came in the package. They put a piece of foam at the top, I imagine, to keep it from rattling around. No, it still rattles. By the way, on-off switch right here. That's the on-off switch right here next to my finger, the little black slider. Still more in here. Walkie-talkie, little belt clip on it. Wristwatch. And I'm imagining this is an earpiece. It's got a piece of plastic covering it out, holding it in place. The plastic tape. I remember, I think both Phil and Maria came with the little earbud. So that's his accessories in the bottom of the box. What's like in here is just hands, gloved hands and non-gloved hands. So, love this rocket there. Sure would like to get a 1/6 scale of his truck. Well, wasn't the truck, his SUV in Civil War. You're experiencing a crash. Something like that it said, I don't remember. Crotch grabber. This is the first Nick. I got the second one, so did I. What do you think so far? Any good? Um, I'm thinking positive. The second one I thought didn't do a good job showing off Nick Fury, because remember with the second one, it was with the broken arm. He had or whatever, he's in a sling. It just didn't give me the badassness of Nick Fury. This one, I've always felt, looking at the figure, that it portrays the badassness of Nick Fury. So that's why this was always, in my opinion, an essential figure. Even when I was trying to justify my collection, saying, well, I'll only ever just need one of each figure. No, I knew as soon as I got the other Nick Fury that I needed this one. No doubt about it. So it appears that the eye patch is molded into the head. The strap is, at least. The patch does have a lifting up here over the eye. I'm not going to lift that off. So we have two relaxed hands. We have the lazy pointing finger. And we have the trigger finger. We do get wrist pegs in his color. And now we have gloved hands. So we have two straight up tight fists. We get this holding hand, which I'm assuming, based off of its shape, is designed for holding the rocket launcher. I'm not sure. Could be for holding the case. I don't know. And this is the other hand. They appear to be identical, just left and right. And then we have a right hand trigger finger. And a left hand grasping. And that's everything for Nick here. First Nick Fury. Now, after I bought the Civil War Nick, I knew I needed the original. I could just never track one down that I wanted to pay for. And so this is brand new. So I've lucked into a brand new one. By the way, these boxes are actually shadow boxes. You could actually display your figure in this box, believe it or not. Outside of this, you could put them in here and display them in this. If you needed a place to display your figure, if you wanted to keep them dust free and see it, just take this out, and then you would, put the base in the bottom of it, and then you could literally display him in here. Now this black one is not a very good one because you're not going to be able to see him in it, but can be done. If you're on a budget, if you're on the cheap, use these as display cases, believe it or not. I'll grab the other Nick. Look at them side by side. And what did I do with the box? Was this not in the box? It's not coming in a box. I don't see it. Interesting. So this Nick is in turtleneck and pants, and then it came with the ability to put his arm in a sling. I decided not to display him in the sling, but I just always felt that he just wasn't badass enough in regular clothes. Whereas this one, he's in his combat sweater. Okay. The turtleneck just made him too casual to me. And his pants. He's in uniform, more or less. Two different coats, totally. I mean, two totally different coats. Two totally different head sculpts. I think the second one looks more like him than the first, truthfully. And on the second one, I think that the eye patch could come off. Yeah, the eye patch could totally come off on the second one. Well, now I wish I hadn't taken it off. Give them an eye patch and they're badass. So I'm going to see if this is interchangeable with the original Nick Fury. I sure like this head sculpt better. Man, I wish I hadn't played with this eye patch. Jeez. So it's head and neck. Let's see what the old one is. Head on a neck. Oh my goodness. Careful, careful, careful. The suit is dissolving right in front of me. Jesus. All of the pleather at the top of the suit is falling apart. That just pisses me off. Some of the suit is stuck to his neck. I mean, it appears that you can take the neck out of there, okay, and use this head sculpt. I'm imagining if I can get this neck out, I should be able to interchange it. I can't imagine why not. I'm not going to futz with it anymore. This eye patch is definitely molded into the head sculpt. That's what I'm so worried about with this Iron Man Mark V coming out with the racing suit. Because my third party racing suit is totally dissolved. And if Hot Toys wants me to give them $400 for a plastic figure, because the racing suit Tony with the attachable Mark V pieces is plastic. Oh my God. Taking this little plastic piece off of the coat here, peeled the pleather up. It's kind of like, let me rant about this for a minute. The new Corvette LT1 package seats with, I think they're called the Milan leather, is a bonded leather. So what that is they take more or less just a real thin piece of leather and glue it to the material, and it just cracks and falls apart. So here it is, a $60,000 vehicle with LT1 seats, bonded leather, and in less than 5 years, your seats are going to be totally destroyed. Guarantee you. Guarantee you. There's going to be a lot of very angry people who went with that Milan leather, the bonded leather in that Corvette. Boy, they're going to be very disappointed. Yeah, this coat totally falling apart. You know what? Man, if somebody had the ability to manufacture these coats and these suits using, something that doesn't dissolve, maybe even real leather, they could make a killing. You know, Black Widow, the racing suit, Tony Stark racing suit, any one of these outfits that have this, oh, God. I mean, just all over, I can just see this thing dissolving. This coat's going to be a mess. We have opposing wire in the bottom of the coat, but not in the... I guess there's one in here. I didn't think there was. I couldn't get it to pose very well. Just be a very thin one. this coat's fine. I don't see any problems with it looking at it. Staying that eye patch. The gloves are different between the two nicks here. Let's read the instruction manual. The scroll. Where are my scroll heads? I bought 3 of them and have not put one on any body yet. Where are they? Here we go. There's your scroll head. So I'm going to go with the Winter Soldier cap nick. So don't remember if this piece came with the scroll or not. It doesn't attach in there, so I'm assuming not. But that eye patch just knocked it clean off. With this in place, it's taller than the nick. So you're going to have to figure out, and that's why I haven't put them on any of them. They just don't match up perfectly. It's kind of like the team suit. You can't put any of the head sculpts onto the team suit. You can't put a Captain America or an Ant-Man or a Hawkeye or anybody onto one of the team suits. Team suit literally is just a Tony Stark. I hoped it would be interchangeable. It's really not. It's kind of been the case with these scroll heads. I don't have more or less a real hero I can put one on. So using that neck piece adapter, it just doesn't sit on there properly. So I don't have the right pieces in order to do it still. They should have come with pieces. You know what I mean? Or they should have come with a separate neck. It was a great idea, just executed poorly. So I don't know of a single body that I can put a scroll head on. I'm sure there is one. I'm sure somebody has used it. I'd like to. I have 3 of them. Bought 3 of these scroll heads. Not been able to put one on any of them yet. And I couldn't get the neck out of that one. I'm tired of messing with it. The suit, the coat just falling apart right in my fingers. Jeez. Hot Toys should be replacing these suits that disintegrate. For real. Some of you think, the Mark 47 was re-released because Hot Toys loved you all so much that they didn't want you to have to pay $800 to buy a Mark 47 from somebody that bought theirs and paid for it originally, and then you either didn't know about Hot Toys or decided to pass on it because it was a red and silver suit and not a red and gold. And some of you all are of the opinion that Hot Toys loves you so much that they re-released that suit so you didn't have to pay an exorbitant fee to buy it from an original owner. So if Hot Toys loves you so much, why aren't they making these replacement suits for these suits that are dissolving? Why aren't they doing that? One thing that I said was Black Widow is going to tell us a lot. I've been saying that for a long time, and I still stand behind that opinion. One of the things I was saying was that the time frame for the Black Widow is the same time frame as Spider-Man Homecoming, right? And that's when we get to see the Mark 47, and then we get the Hulkbuster 2 in Infinity War, and then we have the Mark 50, right? And so the question is, where's the 48, 49? Obviously, the Hulkbuster would be one of those, we would hope, we would think. But that's always the question. A lot of you have said that the Pepper suit, because it says 0049 on it, is Tony's suit. It's not. It's not Tony's 49th suit. Tony does not mark any of his suits with 4 digits, or not 0049. The first 7 he used Roman numerals on. We know for a fact that the Mark 15 and the Mark 42 use regular numbers, 1, 5, and 4, 2. And there's no zeros in front of them. We know Rhodey's suits have 3 numbers, 001, 002, 003. Pepper, the only suit we've seen with Pepper has 4 numbers on it, 0049. So I'm telling you, that's Pepper's 49th suit. And I've told you guys for years now that Black Widow's going to reveal something about this. And that's why the 47 was re-released. So I guarantee you the 47 is going to be in Black Widow, and I think we're going to get an answer to the 48, 49, because as the 47 is rescuing Peter's butt, and Peter's like, "Thank you, Mr. Stark. I didn't think you'd come, come out here to save me." And he opens up the hood, the helmet, and there's no Tony in it. Tony's over in India or someplace at a wedding. If you remember, we have the white suit Tony, wherever I got him at, in the wedding suit. I've got him over here. I don't know where he is. Can't even find him now. Oh, he's in the Detolf. Yeah, white suit Tony over here in the Detolf. And I guarantee you, after the events of Iron Man 3, that he doesn't go anywhere without a suit, for fact. And if the 47 was back in New York City protecting Peter Parker's butt, he had either the 48, the 49, or the 50 with him in at this point. And it's been my opinion that Tony's going to make an appearance in Black Widow, and Robert Downey Jr. has completely denied that. There was a point when IMDb first put up the movie a couple years back that it showed Robert Downey Jr. as a cast member, and then it was removed. Last night when I bought my July 8th Thursday night ticket to Black Widow, on the cast members, it said Robert Downey Jr. Robert Downey Jr. completely denied this. He said, "Well, if I'm in the movie, I hope somebody would let me know about it." Well, Cinemark has him listed as a cast member. Keep that in mind. So I think we're finally going to get a 48, 49 answer. I think. I hope. Remember, I'm not affiliated with any of these guys. Kevin Feige doesn't have me on speed dial. Stan Lee and I never had dinner together. Ryan Reynolds doesn't come out and hang out with me. So I have no idea what's going on other than what I've been able to ascertain from reading or watching YouTube videos. So that's my opinion. We'll see. So even though they've denied Robert Downey Jr. being in the movie for years, he's listed as a cast member at the Cinemark website when you order your ticket. Attach the right foot, put on the pistol holster and the strap to the right thigh, and then hook the pistol holster up at the top. So they show you how to attach that pistol holster to the right foot. I like that. That's really good instructions. And how to put the 1911 in the holster. It's also really good instructions. They show how to put the earbud in the ear and how to remove the hands and the long coat. Interesting. LR936 is what they say the battery is. LR936 is what the battery is for the Tesseract suitcase. It says the zipper on the jacket can be pulled up or down, but it says don't detach the buckle of the jacket. So if you do that, you're totally customizing your figure, and you're going to have to fix it, repair it, in order to get it going back properly. And they talk about paint fading. They talk more about paint fading of the head sculpt than they do the fact that the coat is falling apart. There's a warning. Standard warnings: don't mix old new batteries, do not mix alkaline standard button, standard carbon zinc, or rechargeable nickel cadmium batteries. Battery installation and part assembly should be done by an adult. It's an adult collectible. Do not look at the LED light directly, it may be harmful to your eyes. Please change the battery and observe the status of the battery regularly to avoid leakage, which may cause damage to the product and its electricity system. The above situations are not included in maintenance nor replacement. Interesting. Interesting. I've not seen that warning before that I can remember. Interesting. Single page. Just the front, nothing on the back. That's the entire instructions. Did I bring the other Captain Marvel over here? I don't think I did. Where is she? Thought she was with Guardians of the Galaxy. Here she is. Put this lid back on this. I'm not gonna put the batteries in it. I don't have LR936s laying around, I guarantee you that. Guarantee you that. But yeah, the batteries are totally corroded. So here we have Hot Toys Deluxe version and AC Play. And a Flarn. It's not a cat, that's a Flarn. I think it was Flarn, wasn't it? That they called it? You seen it on a cap? Yeah, I wish I just knew which one it fit on the scroll. Like I said, I bought 3 of them. Hell, I was so naive, I thought I could just pop them on any of them. And what they should have done, instead of making the neck molded to the head for fact, shit, they should have made it separate. That's what they should have done. That would take care of all problems. I mean, we do have it at least. Just I've not been able to take advantage of it, which kind of sucks. And Nick would definitely be the one that you'd want to put him on, in my opinion, no matter. Um, or maybe a Phil Coulson, but Phil's so rare. I wouldn't want to screw up Phil Coulson. But yeah, that kind of sucks. Doesn't necessarily fit on there. So what all else is going on with you all? Got about 20 minutes. I mean, I just like keeping it to 2 hours or thereabouts. Um, I can't think of anything else to talk about. I'll cut you all loose, but I sure will gladly discuss anything or go over any of the figures or anything that you want to talk about. For fact, really excited about Black Widow, July 8th. I'm really excited about that. We've waited over a year for that movie, right? I mean, truthfully, we've been waiting longer than that. We've wanted a Black Widow standalone from like 2012. So, in all actuality, we've waited 10 years for this movie. So, it's good that we're finally getting it. And I'm hoping, I have high hopes for it. And from my understanding, it's kind of a retirement video also. Um, just like Robert Downey Jr. is stepping back from his role as Iron Man. Scarlett Johansson is definitely, from my understanding, stepping back from her role as Black Widow. There's supposed to be a mantle passing, more or less, of it in the movie. The torch being handed off to the next Black Widow, more or less. Oh, by the way, so one of the things I talked about on these Fison male sculptures is that I was going to buy others. I've got others on pre-order. So this is the M35, I think. I've got the 34 and the 33 or whatever it is on order, just waiting for them to come. So, I mean, I ordered them a long time ago. Ordered them at the same time I ordered that one. That's the only one that's arrived. But I can't think of anything else to talk about. Kind of gave a room tour last week. So you guys don't need another room tour, do you? So I'm going to cut this short. It's a Hot Toys Toy Fair exclusive, will be announced soon. What are you hoping for? Spider-Man's and Iron Man's is what I'm hoping for. So when they stop making the Iron Man suits, and I'm talking about the House Party Protocol, what we originally called the Iron Legion, they had shown with, I don't remember whether it was the shotgun or whether it was the blue steel or something, and I've made a video about this. They had shown in the background of this suit that you were buying at the time, the Mark 28 Jack, orange and black, right there in the back of it, posed with the suit that was for sale. And like I said, I don't remember whether it was the shotgun, the Mark 40 shotgun, or what it is, but I actually made a separate video in regards to the Mark 28 Jack as being the next one coming out. They've done that before, I think with the blue steel, where they'd shown it in the background of the one that they were releasing, and then the blue steel came out. Jack never happened. Matter of fact, that was the last suit, whatever that one was, that was made for the House Party Protocol. They quit making them. And At that time, it was because they were redesigning the Mark 7 to diecast. And the thing is that the Mark 28 jack has a lot of Mark 7 pieces in it. And one of the things that we learned with the Mark 7 diecast is the scale is different between the plastic and the diecast figure. So it was my opinion that they didn't release the Mark 28 jack at that point because they were waiting on the Mark 7 diecast to come out. And because so many of the House Party Protocol figures or suits are dependent upon the Mark 7, so many of them are, that if they redesign the Mark 7, then the suits need to follow suit as well in regards to this new design. So that was my opinion at the time, that the reason they didn't release the Mark 28 jack was because of the Mark 7 diecast that was coming out, and they could then re-release all the suits using the diecast pieces from the Mark 7, and or because there's several suits they never even made. The disco, I think, not the disco, the nightclub Mark 16, and the Mark 39, right? The deep sea one. So 39, 38, 38, 37. Mark 37, the sub, the one for deep sea. They never made either one of those. Um, and they are unique armors that are not dependent upon any other armor. I don't think there's any Mark 7 in the nightclub. There might be, but I don't think so. But so they just quit making the House Party Protocol. And I don't understand why, because people like me, and I'm sure there's many of you that have bought every single one of them that have come out. So then the Mark 7 diecast finally came out. And my opinion at that time was that now that it's made, they can then continue making the House Party Protocol or even remake them. And with the diecast pieces. Because, like I said, so many of those suits are dependent upon the Mark 7. Now, I don't think they'll remake the Mark 38 Igor. He's fine as he is. Um, I don't see any problem with him at all. And for scale comparisons, I mean, you wouldn't be able to tell whether he's an accurate scale piece or not. But they might. But the other ones that are specifically Mark 7 related and or that were not made, like the Dyke Club and the, what is the name of the one that's for deep sea? I can't remember. But so I said that when the Mark 7 diecast came out, if they make the Mark 21 in diecast, then that's a green light. That's a waving flag to start up production on the rest of the House Party Protocol. And what did they do? They made the Mark 21 in diecast. Now, it's a cool looking figure no matter because it's gold, okay? And it was easy enough to do. They got the Mark 7 there. It's the exact same figure, totally. It's like the Mark 30 and the Mark 33, identical. Identical, just paint scheme. You know? It's like the Hot Rod and the Iron Patriot and the War Machine Mark II and the War Machine Mark II New Avenger. You know, all of those suits are the exact same suit. The Hot Rod, I think, even has the star in the chest. I forget. One of them has the star in the chest. I think it's the Hot Rod that even has the star in the chest. So all they had to do is just repaint those to fit each one of those versions of the suit. And there are people that will say maliciously, oh, it's just a repaint. And my answer to that is, be it just a repaint or not, if it's screen seen or screen referenced, then it's a valid reason for a repaint. On the other side of the coin, when you have the Sub-Zero or the Arctic or whatever it was called, Mark 7, that was painted white, which is a damn cool looking outfit, and I'm glad I bought that suit. That truthfully is a repaint. That truthfully is a money grab. I don't remember them making any reference to him having a Mark 7 Arctic version around. I don't remember that happening anywhere. So that truthfully is a repaint. But when it's the Mark 30 versus 33, and the Mark 30 being the blue steel and the Mark 33 being the silver centurion, and they're saying, oh well, they just repainted that. trying to grab your money. No, the Mark 30 and the Mark 33 are both in the movie. So it just happens to be identical suits. And what happened with that, because I was watching a behind the scenes thing one time, they're talking to the people that were making the suits. And after a while, they got tired of making unique suits and they just started combining stuff to make what they made. And that's what they had to do. They had to fill total of 42 suits, more or less, had to have been made at that point. Because, it was from 8 to 42, we know, were stored in the House Party Protocol in the basement, the wine cellar, however you want to look at it. They were stored there from 8 on. The first 7 were stored in the garage, and those were just destroyed. They weren't flown to him. They didn't have the ability to be flown to him. The Mark 7 flew to the wrist pieces, which he didn't upgrade that to the sockets that he implanted into his body to call the suit to. So, whereas the 8 through 42, he did, and I'm assuming forward on from there. And now that he kind of has the bleeding edge armor, the suit just comes on him, taps it, and the whole suit just grows on his body. So it's kind of like the bleeding edge in that regard, but it's not. It's not oozing out of his body, which, from my understanding, that was what the bleeding edge armor actually did. So I would like to see the Iron Man suits. I would like to see specifically, if they're not going to do all of them, at least do the 37 head, the 37 and the 16 nightclub. And there's no reason why they couldn't do the others. It's simple enough. It's simple enough. Especially, they've done the 21. They've moved into that direction. Might as well just finish it up. Same thing with the Spider-Man suits. I don't know how many different Spider-Man suits there are in the movie, the video games, the PlayStation games. Possibly 40 suits. Make them all. I will buy every gosh darn Spider-Man that they make. I will buy them all of them. I will, 100%. I totally sold on Spider-Man, and I'm totally invested into the Iron Man suits. So the only Iron Man suit that I've passed on, straight up passed on, was this retro styled Iron Man suit. And Origins, I think it's called Iron Man Origins or something, I forget now. And even that, I look at the images and I'm like, God, man, I really should get this. And I might one of these days, I might track it down. I don't know. But currently I'm like, yeah, I'm just I'm not feeling this. So I have not yet, but I might. So I hope that we get to see any of the Spider-Man coming out, any of the Iron Man coming out. I would like to see the team suits. Come on, we got a Nebula and a Rocket and a Black Widow. All these pieces are unique. A Hulk team suit, the War Machine team suit. There's a 005 that was never shown. He goes from 4 to 6, and the Iron Patriot 2. I'm wondering if the team suit would be number 5. I'd like to see that. So I'd like to see the War Machine. I'd like to see the team suits for real, because they're not interchangeable. I'd like to see Iron Man suits, the House Party Protocol, come out, and I'd like to see some Spider-Mans. And I would love to see the Valkyrie, right? Tessa's character from Ragnarok. Oh my God, yes, I'd like to see one of those. And 2 versions of her. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see some more Black Panther characters for fact, especially because they're carrying over into the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Why not? For fact, I'd like to see some of that. Can't think of anything else off the top of my head, but those are probably the ones that are probably the most important to me in that regards. Would be the ones I'd really, 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 really like to see. Would be those. And of course, the Black Widow figures from the movie. Ah, speaking of Thanos' children. So I've ordered I think I have, I hope I did. I ordered the Sorcerer, but I want to see all of them. They're called the Black Order, right? I'd like to see all of them. They teased those too, you know? I want those. I want Thanos' children. Oh my goodness. That would be wonderful to have. Totally wonderful to have. I guess that's about it. I can't think of anything else really that's pressing on me. So, what Stan Lee do I want to see next? I only bought the first Stan Lee. I didn't buy any of the others, but it is nice how he made all of his appearances in all of the movies. Um, do I have a favorite Stan Lee? Not really. I guess the one I have is my favorite. I'm trying to remember what would be the next best good one to put in there. I'm trying to remember all of his scenes. I can't think of all of his scenes. Which one would you want? It's a good question. Felix Hunger, how's it going? Welcome to the channel. Yeah, that would be nice. Obviously, I would like to see some an Owen Wilson in figure for that. You know, I'd like to see that for fact. I'd like to see a gray Vision with the Infinity Stone out of his head. I know that sounds morbid as hell, but I'd like to have one of those. Or even, didn't he do a gray or a white or something in WandaVision? I'd like to see that. That'd be nice. That's like a total wish. That'll never happen. But there's so many figures that they could make. And I would hope that they do that. But I certainly want all the Spider-Man. I want the House Party Protocol. I want them to finish off the House Party Protocol. There's like, I don't know, 15 or so that they didn't make. Something along that line. And then they even made the wrong one. So they gave us the Mark 9 and said that this was the suit that Pepper used to destroy Killian. I'd like to see a Killian. This is the suit that Pepper used to destroy Killian, and it's not. She actually used the Mark 8. So here we have a screen scene armor, an important armor, and we were given the Mark 9 instead of the 8. Now, the reason we were given the Mark 9, because the Mark 9 is exactly the same as the Mark 20, just backwards at the hips. So I say exactly the same, but so one of them has the Mark 17 Heartbreaker hips, and the other one has the Mark 7 hips. Other than that, the top and the bottom are the same. They just interchanged the hips, and that's why they did that, because it was easy to do the Mark 9. And they figured none of us were smart enough or paid close enough attention to realize that that wasn't the suit from the movie that she used to destroy Killian. But upon examination of the film, you can see that the shins of the suit that is coming at her. Remember, Tony doesn't have his earbud in; he can't communicate with Jarvis anymore. Trying to tell him not to take out any more extremist people, which Pepper was totally firing the heat signature of being an extremist. So here comes the Mark 8 right at her, and you can see that the shin is of the Mark 33 Silver Centurion, and that is the Mark 8. Whereas the shin of the Mark 9 is that of the Mark 17 Heartbreaker. And so when you look at that, you'll 100% say, that's the Mark 8. Totally Mark 8. So we never even got the right one in the first place. But that's because that would require a little more work to make the Mark 8 over the Mark 9, because Mark 9 was just a simple switch out of the hip. So I'd like to see that, at least. The correct suit that was used to destroy Killian. Yeah, definitely. No spoilers, man. Don't be talking about spoilers. But definitely, I agree. The Loki was great, and I've pointed out to everybody that I've just paid $17 to buy my ticket to Black Widow, which is more than the entire monthly subscription of Disney. So I'm pretty sure. I don't think the Disney subscription is $25. I think it's like $13. Hell, it may be $25. But Loki itself pays for that, for fact, for absolute fact, and is 100% tied into the MCU. Totally tied, totally tied into the MCU. 100%. Ironmonger would be nice to see. It's funny they've re-released now everything from Iron Man 2 except the Whiplash 2, which is a diecast figure. Um, they which I don't understand why they've re-released all of these suits from Iron Man 2 and even came out with a new one, the racing suit with the attachable plastic pieces of the Mark V. I don't understand why they're doing that. I'm pleased that they're doing that, especially for the collectors out there that weren't collecting at that point. The Ironmonger has a serious problem at the hips, at uh, the the inner thigh where the leg is attached to the hip. They're all cracked up. I've not seen one that isn't cracked up, as a matter of fact. And so the stress of the figure caused that, I imagine, and they were cracked for years, and so it needs to be redone for that reason. Now, it's a beast of a figure, so I don't know if they are going to redo that for what limited number of people that would collect it. Now, they promised us the first seven would all be die cast. We've got 2 through 7 now. The Mark II and the Mark III need to be redone again because they're outside of scale. They're not scaled right with the new diecast figures. So in all actuality, they need to redo the Mark II and the Mark III. The Mark I has not been made yet in diecast. So maybe when they release the Mark I diecast, we'll get an Ironmonger after that. That'd be nice. I don't think it's going to happen though, but it sure would be nice if they make a wire. If they re-release the Whiplash Mark II, then I'm going to say they're probably going to do an Ironmonger too. I would say that, and I think it would come out about the same time or after the Iron Man Mark One diecast is released. That's my opinion on that. Hot Toys is sloppy sometimes. Sometimes they really go above and beyond, but sometimes they really miss it. Definitely the team suit. Really? Wrong hand, is it? How about that? I didn't know that. JB Collection, how's it going, man? Welcome to the channel. Did I actually like the Whiplash 2 suit? So they did that wrong as well. Um, the head sculpt on that, he didn't wear it with just the helmet, the faceplate off, and the rest of the helmet. The whole thing came off, and we should have seen that. And he had his hair like in a man bun or something. I forget now. So they totally jacked on that as well. So they would need to correct that, and that might be why maybe they are planning on releasing the Whiplash Mark II. They've done everything else. You got the War Machine Mark One's been re-released recently. You can order that if you missed that. Get on that for fact. The War Machine Mark One diecast has been reissued, so get a hold of that. The Mark V has been redone. There's a new Mark V with the plastic suit that attaches to the racing suit. You've got the Whiplash Mark One reissued. So, I mean, the only thing we're missing is the Whiplash Mark II, and it really needs to be fixed. That whole head sculpt thing needs to be fixed. Now, Mickey Rourke left the MCU extremely pissed off about the whole thing, specifically in regards to he felt that he was stifled in his creativity over his character. And this came about at a time when they were making the movies back then. They kind of had this real laissez-faire, just this very loose opinion of how to do things. They could change the roles or change the script right in the middle of shooting, because it was just very young ish in regards to things, and there's a lot of things that weren't written in stone yet, and he felt that he should have had a little more input on his character, and he's an interesting person in his first place, and he left the MCU extremely pissed off, and there might be a problem with them trying to reissue that because of that. But then again, they reissued the Mark One, but it was pretty much it's an identical figure, so they didn't have to get any more authorizations or sign offs or anything. From my understanding, I guess when they signed their contract, they also signed the rights to merchandise of their faces and all that, so it shouldn't be an issue. But they really need to fix that head sculpt because it was never something that happened in the movie, for fact. That number goes between 700 and 1,100 bucks on the secondary market. Yeah, I think when he was first released, he was $400 way back then. So um, keep that in mind. At a time when all of the Hot Toys figures are under 200 bucks, he was $400, and you were able to buy one of him for a long time. He stayed new for, I mean, years. People just weren't buying them. So that's going to be another factor in regards to whether or not they're going to re-release an Ironmonger. Was that you know all of these retailers of the Hot Toys figures were stuck with this Ironmonger. They couldn't get rid of it. Couldn't get rid of the Heartbreaker. They couldn't get rid of the Silver Centurion. They couldn't get rid of the Chitauri Warriors. They couldn't get rid of Ben Kingsley's um, 10 Rings, the Mandarin. They couldn't get rid of the Mandarin. There's all these figures that they just couldn't get rid of. And so that is in the back of their mind when it comes down to making new or revisioned figures, as to whether or not how long these suits still sat on the shelf. Big Bad Toy Store was practically giving them away after it's all said and done. You know, so that's going to greatly influence their decision as to what figures they're making next, which ones are going to sell, and which ones are going to sit on the shelf. You know what I mean? Yeah, so the War Machine Mark One. I thought about buying another one. I only own one War Machine. I never bought any of the plastic ones. I bought the die cast. I'm talking about the Mark One, but I really wish I had another Mark One, because I have up at the top there a Hall of Armor for the War Machines, and it starts with the Mark Two that he stole, and then it goes to the Mark II, and then the Iron Patriot, and the Mark II New Avenger, and then the Mark III, and the Mark IV, and then I have an empty suit, and I've got the Mark VI over here with the Avengers. So I'm thinking about buying that reissued Mark One, because I only have one, and he's in here displayed with Whiplash Mark II and Iron Man Mark VI in the scene at the Stark Expo where they're fighting in the more or less the stream or the park or whatever. And I'd really like to have a War Machine Mark One in here as well. I hear there are many scenes they cut with Mickey Rourke, which made him mad. He did his research in Russian prison for the tattoos and such. Yeah, Mickey Rourke is a he really is a he's all about the art, and I love movies and television for that. The more believable the character is, the more that the actor is giving me into feeling for the character, not doing her freaking job. Didn't feel shit for her. The more I can lose myself and totally accept that this person is real, that they've been fleshed out, that they've totally become somebody I give a damn about, somebody I want to see more of, somebody I have an emotional attachment to. When that actor or actress achieves that through their art, and it really is, I mean, this is a job They are actors. They are to do this, you know. Then bravo and kudos to them. And Mickey Rourke really is a strong actor in that regards. You know, I watched this YouTube video recently of Harry Morgan from MASH in a MASH scene where he was telling the story of these guys that he served with during, I think it was World War One, and they had acquired this bottle of brandy from then, and the five of the guys that he was served with agreed that they would they found a whole casket full of brandy, boxes of brandy. They drank all the brandy except one bottle. And they all agreed to keep this one bottle. And in this MASH episode on this YouTube video, as he's telling this story of these guys, man, there's such an emotional connection. And it's just a totally fabricated story. No truth in it whatsoever. Now, it may be based off of actual events of characters, of people in real life. Some of these writers may be motivated by actual instances of people, but it's just a totally made up story. But he delivers it so well. I mean, you're literally thinking, God, did he serve in the war? Were these people he really knew? Is he able to? Is he reaching into his memory and his heart, and he's feeling for these people? It's 100%. So whenever an actor does that, and Mickey Rourke is really good at doing that, it just sells the whole fantasy. When I give them my money, or when I buy the video, or whenever I'm watching it on TV for whatever reason, I expect to be transported to this reality and give a damn about the actors and the actresses or the characters that they're portraying. And an actor that doesn't make me feel for them, you know, or a director that can't make an actor deliver that is just terrible. It's just terrible. I mean, that's their entire job. That is their job. So Mickey Rourke is good at that. And so, yeah, he left there very angry. So I don't know if that would have anything to do with the Whiplash Mark II or what, but yeah, I can see that. Some of the actors are Harvey Keitel, for instance, all about the art of it. I can't remember the term. There's a term that the actors use to reference that kind of an actor, an actor that's all about the art, an actor that's all about, you know, delivering their finest that they can, making that character real, you know. I can't remember the term for that, but they're aware of it, and we as moviegoers are aware of it too. If it's just a piss poor performance, you're going to feel it. You're going to feel it. You're really going to feel it. Well, the re-release of the Mark VI. You know, I didn't even think about that. That actually is an Iron Man 2, isn't it? They've made so many Mark IVs and Mark VIs, it's not even funny. In all actuality. I do kind of hate all the reissues because it kind of diminishes the value of my collection. You know what I mean? The Mandarin. Yeah, exactly. There you go. He sat forever. You know, they practically gave that figure away. It's probably what they paid for it. I don't know. I really don't. And now, of course, we have the Mandarin movie coming out. And if you haven't seen the movie, I think it's called Hail to the King. It's a little Marvel short story that it really ties in the issue of the Mandarin and Adrian Killian and Ben Kingsley character not being the real Mandarin. They really tie all that in. So see if you can't find it. It's out there on the internet somewhere. I think it's called Hail to the King. It's like a 15-20 minute long little short story, but it's integral to the MCU, and especially with this the Mandarin movie coming out with the correct Mandarin in it. You should check it out. Definitely, if you've not ever seen it, you should check that out. I think Silver Centurion was overproduced, but as for Ironmonger, this piece fell into the Hulk price. Yeah, same price, and the Iron Man Mark 38, the Iron Igor. Right, right, and no, not method acting. There's another term for the ones that are totally into the method acting is different, but it's you're on the right page. The uh, so when the Silver Centurion and the Heartbreaker and all these figures were being made, I don't think they necessarily had access to the data as to how many that they were selling at that point. They really didn't know how many to make of these figures. So whatever it is that they were cranking out, let's just say I don't even know. I'm just going to throw a number out there. Let's just say 1,000 that they made of these figures. Nobody really knows how many they've made of them. So let's just say 1,000. They didn't know if they were going to sell one or 1,000. But with today's technology, with their ability to create these pieces pretty much on the fly with the machinery that they use to make these figures in the first place, and the fact that they make us wait a year and a half or 2 years before a figure even is delivered to us, they could know exactly how many to make based off of pre-sales. I guarantee it doesn't take them a year and a half to make a figure. Now, I think I watched someplace where they said that they research a figure for 2 weeks before they start making the prototype of it. And so here's the prototype. They'll announce the prototype, and you can't buy it then. You may have to wait 6 months because they're showing it at Toy Fair or Comic Con or something. It's not up for pre-sale, but it's right there. They've made it. They're just working out kinks out of it. And then by the time it's finally available to be ordered, you're looking at over a year, sometimes 2 years. So you can't tell me during that time frame that they can't figure out how many of these to make. If you have 900 pre-sales, you make 1,000 of them. So there's no reason why they can't make these figures because they'll know how many they're going to make in the first place. And as big as Hot Toys is, and I guarantee you it's subsidized by the Chinese government, as big as Hot Toys figures are, even if they only sold 30 of the gosh darn things, they could still crank out just 30. It's not like they have to go to a supplier or another manufacturer who's making their toys for them now. They're not buying, just an off the shelf body and putting a suit onto it. They're making the bodies. They're doing the whole 9 yards. So they can make as many or less or as few as they desire. So there's no reason why they're going to have figures just sitting on the shelf that they can't get rid of anymore. If they do their work, if they do their homework, pre-sales will tell you. And then make 10% more or something to that effect. Or 10 more or something so that you have that. Why not? Hail to the King, a Marvel one-off. I highly recommend it. It clears up the Mandarin. It 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 answers the Mandarin question. The 10 Rings. The 10 Rings. They were talking about the 10 Rings for a long time. In Ant-Man, there's a reference to the 10 Rings. So it was just so disappointing that they just dismissed it with Iron Man 3. Mandarin, he's a fake. And that was the end of it. It's like, oh, no, hold on. These rings are important. It's a giant group, and then we see him in Ant-Man, and I can't remember whatever else. There was another movie I'm pretty sure where the 10 Rings were mentioned, and this is important and it's integral, and the Mandarin really was a bad guy, and each of the rings did something, if I remember correctly. So my very first hot toy figure was the Mark 17 Heartbreaker. How did I learn about Hot Toys? I learned about them when they made the Tron cycle. But I didn't buy any Hot Toys at that point. The Tron cycle was the first one I heard about. When I seen that Tron cycle, I was like, holy shit. And I've still to this day not bought a Tron cycle. But man, it's an amazing piece of equipment there, I'll tell you that much. That was when I first discovered Hot Toys. And yeah, I've collected a lot of stuff. I talked about that earlier today, where I've always been a collector of stuff. Um, and I just go fully on overboard in regards to that. And that's why I have to try to curtail my collection just to the Marvel Cinematic Universe and some little dalliances that I have, like Lady Death and Vampire Earl from Feisen and some of the other Feisens that I track down just because I enjoy the figures. But I told myself I wasn't going to start on Star Wars, and I bought the R2D2s, I bought a C3PO, I bought some of the other pieces with that, and now Star Wars is starting to creep in. I have at my feet here 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9, 10, 11, 12 Star Wars 13 or more Star Wars figures here that I haven't opened up yet, and they're starting to creep in. And if I don't get a hold of it, man, I will buy every single Stormtrooper or anything along that line, Clone Troopers, whatever, Death Troopers. I'll buy them all. I will buy them all, and I'm going to have to get a bigger house just to display them, because that's what I do. I go overboard. I totally do. So 7 months was the time from the moment that they said, let's make the first prototype to the time of completion, 7 months. And you're saying it was shipped out or something at that point? Man, that's another one I would totally just lose myself in. All of the Mandalorian, all of them, Boba Fett, Jango Fett, all the Mandos from the television series. I would buy every single one of them, every one. Jeez, I have to try to keep this under control. Yeah, yeah, they don't need bank loans, no doubt about it. Plus, I'm almost 100% guaranteeing you that they're funded by the Chinese government. I guarantee you they are. Hot Toys is a Chinese company. They're not a Hong Kong company, right? They're actual, honest to goodness Chinese company. Yeah, that Tron cycle is amazing. I've never seen one in real life, but golly, the images of it are astounding, absolutely astounding. 600 to 1,000. I would probably pay that without thinking too much into it. I would pay at least 600. I would. I mean, it's got to be probably this big. Wow, 7 months from pre-order to release. That's moving, especially on a figure that has so many pieces to it. I wonder how much of it was able to just be copied over from the Boba Fett's that they've been making. They've made a lot of different versions of Boba Fett, if you remember. God, they made, I don't know, I'm just guessing here, 10 versions of Boba Fett. And yeah, I would buy every single one of those. I've loved Boba Fett. I've loved it from the beginning. George Lucas had even said if he knew that Boba Fett would be such a popular character, he wouldn't have killed him off. And now we see in The Mandalorian. So, guys, I'm so happy that you tuned in with me today. I'm here every Saturday. Start the show at about 7 a.m. in the morning, Pacific time, which is where I live. And I really appreciate every one of you. Like, subscribe, share. I have a Patreon, and here's my opinion of Patreon. When Patreon came about, YouTube was saying push your followers onto Patreon to pay you, because we're not going to pay you, and they don't. YouTube doesn't pay squat. You get 2 cents per 1,000 clicks of advertiser ads, and so that's pennies. So they say, tell your subscribers, your followers, to pay you on Patreon. Well, here's the thing: I hate asking for money because I'm just sharing my collection. And believe it or not, anything you send, you're not paying for these figures. We're talking on the average now $300 a figure. You know what I mean? So I pay for this out of my money. This is my toys. These are my hobbies. But at the same token, just like when you go to a restaurant and the waiter or waitress delivers your food to you and takes your order, that's all they've done. But we've been told that we need to give them a tip, 10, 20% of the bill. So, in the same token, if you feel so inclined, I have a Patreon, www.patreon.com/Siri Emerald, all one word, SIRIEMERALD. Throw a dollar my way. Just let me know that you appreciate what I do. That dollar means so much to me. Thank you, Patreons, those of you who have done that over the years. I love every one of you. Thank you very much. Thank you for that. If you don't have it, you don't need to. Um, you're not paying for my figures. That dollar does not pay for my figure, but it just makes me feel good to know that you give that much credence to me, that I'm worth that. And people will argue, well, when you're tipping the waitress, you're making up for their wage disparagement because there's a waiter slash waitress wage of $2 federally mandated, and then the tips are supposed to make up for that. In California, that's not the case. Waiters and waitresses get paid the exact same money as any minimum wage employee does, which I think is pushing $13 or $14 an hour now here in California. So the guy working at McDonald's who's salting your fries, putting them in the bag and handing them to you, is getting paid the exact same money that the waitress or waiter is that brings you your burger at the restaurant and hands it to you, yet you're told you need to tip her 10 or 20% or him of the value of your meal of $20. So you're giving her $2 or $4 because she brought you your burger. Do you tip the McDonald's guy because he brought you your French fries? Why not? So we have no problem tipping our waiters and waitresses. Tip me out. That's all I'm saying. But it's not important. It just lets me know that you appreciate me. And I thank you, those of you who have decided to do that. That's a heck of a commitment. And I'm eternally grateful. I really am. Thank you. Thank you very much. So that's my spiel on all of that. Mark 85 Battle Damage was one of the first figs to take 2 years to pre-order. I would have to say the Hulk Buster beats all in regards to how long it took for the gosh darn thing to come out from the moment it was pre-ordered. I paid for my Hulk Buster in April of 2015 or March 2015. I don't remember when it was. And the gosh darn thing didn't come until like 2017 or 18. Continually pushed back. I'm pretty sure the Hulk Busters got everyone beat in regards to how long it took from the moment that they said, all right, give us your money, to the moment that the figure finally was delivered to us. I'm pretty sure Hulkbuster beats everyone. So I'm going to wrap this up, guys. I love every one of you. Thank you very much. It's so enjoyable talking with you and hearing what's going on. Remember, this is all of our channel. It really is. There's many of you out there that share with what you're doing while you're here on the channel, and I love hearing that. And you're so much full of so much information, and it's nice to be able to share that information, because a lot of us don't know what to do in these different instances in taking care and in loving and maintaining our figures. So those of you that have the knowledge, thank you for sharing it with the rest of us. And it's a nice little community, the 1/6 scale community is. Peace out, Save on Mason, Toy Mafia. Thank you. We will see you all next week. Love everyone. Take care. You bet. Next time, baby. Love it.